Lowe's is my new go-to destination where I can explore the latest innovative Craftsman products, including their new V20 Power Tool battery platform. The Craftsman's V20 cordless power tool lineup features a high-capacity lithium battery that's part of Craftsman's interchangeable battery system. Works with all the tools in their V20 lineup, giving you the runtime you need and the power you deserve. For the latest Craftsman product updates, visit Lowes.com/footballers. Lowe's is the new home of Craftsman.
Hey, this is David Johnson, running back of the Arizona Cardinals, and you're listening to the Fantasy Footballers Podcast.
Welcome to the Fantasy Footballers Podcast, coming to you from Draft.com Studios with your hosts, Andy Holloway, Jason Moore, and Mike Wright.
We're number one.
32nd best, baby. It's
so
all the
proud.
same.
So proud.
It's all the same when draft season hits.
Welcome to the Fantasy Footballers Podcast for Monday, December 31st, the final episode of the 2018 calendar year. I'm donning some gear from the number one team in football. Isn't that how it works?
Right, that's what it means.
In April.
See, I explained to my 7-year-old yesterday. He said, wait, why, if they're the worst, why do they get the first pick? He thought that the better teams get the first pick.
Oh, that would not be fair. My children were very confused as to why we were rooting for the Seahawks.
Well, I guess we have more to talk about than the Cardinals securing the first pick in the draft.
More.
There's plenty.
Like piles and piles of head coaching firings this morning, and well, this is the Footie Nomination show, so we're looking back over the last year. That was very John Hammond of you, Jason.
Oh, spare no expense. Look, the Footies are here. This is the biggest show of the year.
Is your voice here, though?
No, I am sick. I'm under the weather, but I'm here in body form.
Body form.
And I do want to bring this up briefly before we jump into the show. One of your many idiosyncrasies could be leading to this illness, and that is the fact it's in the 40s, and you're still wearing a T-shirt. Most often you wear flip-flops and shorts.
Yeah, I thought you'd be proud of me for having pants and shoes on.
I am proud of you, Jason.
Can you confirm the only reason you actually have pants and shoes on is because last night I messaged you highlighting that the temperature is going to be in the 40s with high chance of rain.
There's no chance that I have shoes on today if not for that message.
Yeah. So Mike has to screenshot weather apps.
No way. I should have let it go.
Well, you want to keep him well. You want him on the show. We don't need Jay Grizz every single episode.
Fair.
Twitter at the FF Ballers. You're going to want to follow us on Twitter. We'll post the link to footieawards.com. That's where you can go and vote for the 2018 Footies. All the nominations on the show today. So you've got your best at every position, breakout star, tons of different categories. We'll go through them all on the show today. That'll be the main focus, but we will touch on the news, the studs and the duds from Week 17, the players that played, that is, which was, few and far between by the end of it. And next week we have the Truth episodes. Thursday, this week we'll have the Footie winners, but next week we'll start getting into the Truth episodes. These are huge strategic episodes as you go into next season.
Absolutely.
You can get your Foot Clan title shirt at shopballers.com. Let's get into the rewind.
Weekly Rewind.
We're going to go quick. Aaron Rodgers did not return after suffering a concussion in the second quarter against the Lions.
Hopefully he did not. Watching the game, nothing to play for, and your team is quickly down 2 scores.
Oh, you're hoping
I'm just hoping he's like,
I'm concussed.
I've had enough of 2018.
How many fingers am I holding up? 12.
Yeah. Nick Foles exited the fourth quarter with a chest injury, bruised ribs, expected to play. They made the playoffs. Philadelphia fans, my Super Bowl pick still alive.
It's ridiculous.
So he gets his $1 million, right? Oh.
So if you have not heard,
over here.
If you didn't hear, in Nick Foles' contract, he had a clause that said if the team makes the postseason and he plays 33% of the team's plays, then he gets $1 million, $1 million incentive. And he was lined up to hit that yesterday, except when he left with the injury, and he finished the season at 32% of the plays.
Oh.
So per contract, we'll see what the Eagles do.
I would imagine the Eagles are going to pay
I would
him.
imagine they'll pay him too, because the only reason they're in the playoffs is because of Nick Foles at this moment.
Incredible. In stupid injuries of the day, Melvin Gordon limped off ankle injury, expected to play against the Ravens in the playoff game, but at the point where Melvin Gordon was injured in this game, the Los Angeles football Chargers had already secured their spot. They weren't changing based on winning or losing. That should have been like the reality is the Seahawks should have done the same thing. Seahawks had their spot completely secured. They should have rotated in secondary players. Thank goodness they didn't.
I think they got just like tricked into playing. Yeah. It was when you're up against, your brother or your sister in a competition, and you got to keep going no matter how silly the activity is that you're competing at. So they just got tricked into playing.
Hunter Henry is expected to play in the playoffs.
That's fantastic news.
It's big news for Los Angeles. Whether they can survive a game in Baltimore is another question. Jeff Wilson exited with an injury.
Jeff.
Anthony Miller left with an injury. Kyle Allen, the last quarterback standing for Carolina, left.
I checked on the this was pretty early in the morning. I look at the scoring, and I'm like, wait a minute. Why is Keenan Allen so high on quarterbacks? Something's weird.
And it was Kyle Allen. Yeah, week 17. Andrew Whitworth, knee injury, didn't return. This is big news for the Rams. Hopefully he's okay for their playoff matchup. He's got 2 weeks. Big-time coaching changes. This is kind of the headline of the morning. I mean, as we all drove into the studio today, multiple coaches were fired on each of our drives. I mean, that's basically how it was. And we do have full coaching changes episodes coming later in February and March. That'll include the hires. These are the fires. Jets have fired Todd Bowles. Buccaneers fired Dirk Cutter. Bengals fired Marvin Lewis. The Dolphins fired the beehole himself, Adam Gase. Broncos have fired Vance Joseph. Cardinals have fired Steve Wilkes. Yes. And the Jags have decided to return Coach Doug Marrone.
That's shocking.
To the Jags.
I heard a couple weeks ago that they were not going to let him go. But
that's shocking to you?
Oh,
Why is that?
Because I don't think any team in the entire NFL, did worse than what their expectation was.
But see, they also did wonderfully last year, making it to the title game. So it was one of those things where I think it's more rope because of the success than anger for the failure. And there was some pretty big news this morning about Leonard Fournette, right? I mean, essentially his conduct suspension in Week 13, where he got into that unnecessary fight. Apparently in his contract language, and now did the team inform him?
Yeah, he got bodied. Jags.
His guarantees are now wiped out?
Yeah, he has no guaranteed money. Yeah. The Jags said, hey,
we read over the contract.
We could take all your guaranteed money back, and so we will, which he's still got his contract. He's still getting paid. But if they ever want to cut him, if he keeps underperforming as he's been doing and they say it's time to move on.
Or overweighting.
Right.
I mean, he was not in shape this year. A lot of criticism for his lack of the amount of time it took to recover from the hamstring injury.
When you saw yesterday, Tom Coughlin was furious with Leonard Fournette and TJ Yeldon. Apparently for their behavior on the bench.
They both weren't paying attention to the game is what happened. So this is the problem with Tom Coughlin in general. And I like Tom Coughlin. But he is a great coach when you are having success. He is a coach that becomes overbearing when you are losing. And in this case, a general manager that becomes overbearing, as does Doug Marrone. They have the same characteristics where in success, things are great. They make good decisions. But they grind the gears of those people.
I mean, if you're Leonard Fournette or Yeldon, just put yourself in that position as a human being. Your team stinks. That you're playing literally for nothing. You are not playing. Are you really going to be locked into this game while you sit there?
No, and I understand that part, but if they are put yourself in that situation as a head coach or a general manager, and your two players on the sideline. If they're laughing it up when you're getting destroyed on the field, that's kind of a perception issue for like, would you ever see Larry Fitzgerald on the sideline in Arizona?
No, you would not.
Cracking jokes in the middle of a 20-3 loss?
But it's
but if he did, they'd be funny.
They'd be funny jokes.
It reminds me of the Derek Anderson meltdown.
Yeah.
From years ago when he was the quarterback for the Cardinals. They were getting destroyed, and you just human nature is, okay, I gotta figure out a way to make this okay. So you tell some jokes. I don't know. It's very, very old man.
It is, but I think Fournette's earned himself some criticism this year.
Yeah.
Quincy Enunwa, 4-year, $36 million contract extension. Enunwa will be back, and he is a favorite target of Sam Darnold.
I like Enunwa a lot. It's just
you like him that much? You like him $36 million worth?
For 4 years, I mean, it's the going rate. It's far more interesting that they went and made sure he's coming back while Robbie Anderson, what's going on with him?
Yeah, I think
he's under contract for 1 more year, but
yeah, we'll see.
I would rather secure Robbie Anderson than Quincy.
Robbie contains some risk.
Sure.
We're going to get into some studs and duds real quick.
This week's Fantasy Stud Muffins.
Whew.
The Josh Stallion himself.
Oh, man.
Excellent.
5
Yeah, where's my drop?
touchdowns. Once again, he has dominated for fantasy. 17 for 26, 3 through the air, 9 for 95 and 2 on the ground.
Holy moly. That's a lot of rushing.
Listen, I am not anywhere close to victory lapping on Josh Allen based on – look, I liked him coming to the season. I did not like Josh Rosen. I will say this. I was trying to tell Mike this before the show, and this goes beyond fantasy for me. One, he's going to keep doing this, and he's going to be a great fantasy player for a very long time. He has no weapons on the outside right now, and I understand that accuracy and all that stuff is a concern. We already have this template. It's already been printed. We've already hung it on the wall. He's the same size as Cam Newton. He's 6'5", 240. Cam Newton, 6'5", 245. He's put up the best rookie season on the ground since Cam Newton. Cam Newton's accuracy, especially early in his career, left a lot to be desired. But when you have super arm talent, one great throw makes up for 2 or 3 bad ones. Josh Allen can win with this template. That's all I'm trying to say is that Cam Newton led his team to a Super Bowl that way. I like Josh Allen a lot, and I like him a lot more for fantasy.
When you look at his rushing statistics, 3rd most rushing touchdowns for a rookie all time, and then you realize he missed a month.
Yeah.
It's insane. I mean, he is going to be a fantasy star. That I agree with completely.
And that's what matters here. Dak with a huge week. Winston, turned out he played a lot and played well.
And he will be back.
345 and 4.
That's what the whispers from the bushes are.
Matt Ryan, Lamar Jackson, Tom Brady, big weeks. Lamar snuck into the playoffs.
And Lamar, I feel like Lamar had like 5 touchdowns that just they kept getting called off the board.
Yeah, he had the goal line leap that he fumbled.
Yes. Then he had
another one.
He had a 30-yarder that ended up getting called back on a holding, I believe.
Huge week 17 running back weeks from Jordan Howard, C.J. Anderson, Saquon. All my semifinal players dominated in week 17. Dominated. And that includes George Kittle. If you remember, I had Kittle,
man.
Saquon, Tyreek, and Mahomes on my semifinal team that lost. And had I gotten half of what they got this week, I would have won. Zinner, Morris, Marlon Mack, anybody you want to talk about there? I mean, this is some throwaway games from Zinner and Morris.
Certainly. But Marlon Mack he's
proven himself this year. That's a credit to Jason. He is a good player. I mean, plain and simple. And there hasn't been a down I've watched him this entire season that reminded me of last year, to be honest.
Yeah, that's all I was going to bring up.
The only guy I want to bring up is Jordan Howard. He had such
nice finish, Jordan.
He had such a bad middle stretch of the year that you just wrote him off. The team did not. I mean, if you look at his last 6 games, he was on a 282 carry pace, 1,277 yard pace, and 13 touchdowns. So they figured out how to use him and use him a lot. And so I think he redeemed himself.
Who else do you want to talk about at that position? Anybody else?
Nope.
Godwin, Hill.
Well, C.J. Anderson.
C.J. Anderson? Anybody? We can move on now.
Okay. That was important, though. That was
Thank
necessary.
You. Yes, it was.
Chris Godwin and Mike Evans both had a pair of touchdowns from Jameis Winston. Godwin is obviously a huge name to watch for next season.
So is Evans.
He's a good player. Evans as well. Yeah, no doubt.
Evans will be very interesting to see where does this give him the bump back up into the higher tiered wide receivers.
I will say this. The head coaching change in Tampa is going to matter a ton.
Yes.
Because if part of the new coach's philosophy there is containing the mistakes of Jameis Winston, turning this team on a defense, Cutter isn't let it fly guy. So I'm curious to see if we can have the same expectations for these guys next year with Winston. But now, Godwin, 6 for 114, Evans, 6 for 102.
Mike Evans finished with over 1,500 receiving yards for those who have not paid attention to how massive his season has been.
All right. Zay Jones, 6 for 93. There you go.
Yeah.
Jarvis, 5 for 102. Josh Reynolds had a couple touchdowns. Brandon Cooks had a couple touchdowns. Twisting the knife in Mike's semifinal team.
Yeah. Yeah, it's certainly. The bigger one was just the Josh Reynolds, how 2 weeks ago it had been his snaps massively reduced. They went with Tyler Higbee and Gerald Everett. And they said, that was fun for a game, and they went back to their ways of the 3 wide.
I want to talk about one specific tight end.
Oh, goodness.
I mean,
it better be the one that I want to talk about.
It's just too funny, Mike, because, look, in Week 16, and Mike's staring the camera down, there's a note here, insert Mike tilt. In Week 16, Mike made the not-so-popular deep pick.
He saw something. He saw something coming.
Yes, I did.
He saw something in Blake Jarwin, tight end for the Dallas Cowboys.
What an idiot.
And Blake Jarwin put up 1.8 fantasy points last week. I had to break the news to Mike that I saw somebody on.
I actually had a conversation with this person.
Did you see
on Twitter?
this?
Yeah.
So on Twitter, there was a guy who lost by a yard, and he had Blake Jarwin in his tight end.
Oh.
And somebody's response was, "Who the blank is Blake Jarwin?" And then somebody goes,
"You know who he is now."
They go, "I started him because Mike told me to," and he lost. And Blake Jarwin this week put up 7 for 119 and 3 touchdowns on 8 targets. Mike, proceed.
I claim this as a victory.
I mean,
I get it. It was 1 week too late. It doesn't matter if you played in Week 16 and you lost because of Blake Jarwin. If you did, I am so sorry. But this is at least somewhat redemption for the process.
It does point to next year, though. I mean, you've got Dak, who's used his tight end, and this whole season it's just been a mismatch of different tight ends on the field.
Yes.
You don't know who it is. They're kind of splitting it up 3 ways. And now towards the end of the year, you see, okay, I think it's Blake Jarwin's job. That's
119 and 3.
So going into next year, he'll be one of those maybe last round drafted tight ends who could pop.
Never spent a better Kittle in all my life. George Kittle broke the record.
I couldn't believe this.
So he broke Kelsey's record.
He broke the all-time record for receiving yards in a season.
Because Kelsey broke it.
This year.
Yes. And then Kittle broke it after that?
Travis Kelce this season has 1,337 yards.
Yeah, so Kelsey broke it during the Chiefs game.
Yes.
And then Kittle snatched it right out from underneath him. That sucks.
So
how much does Travis Kelce hate George Kittle right now?
Well, and what's the record for all-time records for the shortest amount of time? Because Kelsey's got to be up there with that.
George Kittle
held the record for 22 minutes.
9 for 149 and 1 on 14 targets. Where does he deserve to be drafted next year? And do we need to think about
probably number 3.
George Kittle in a different light?
Oh yeah, he's elite.
Would he, let me give you an example, okay? My league of record team or a friend of mine's.
Of course.
Is he worthy of keeper consideration for the advantage he is at the position? Is he in the would you look at him like Kelsey and Ertz in the same breath?
Pretty close. That's why I was saying number 3. I would still take Kelsey over him, and I would still take Ertz. But then I mean, is anyone even close to Kittle?
I don't think so. I think Gronk
no.
will probably be drafted that way if he's back.
Yeah, Gronk will. Yeah, wrongly.
He'll
be
go there,
there,
but he's not.
No, there's
he's
no
not
one
in
else.
That tier.
There's no one else in that tier. You could try to make the argument for Eric Ebron, but I wouldn't.
No.
And if you're in that category, no. I mean, Kittle is.
And he did almost all of this with the third string quarterback.
Well,
Yeah.
does that worry you at all?
No.
Okay.
Because he was good with Jimmy G.
Yeah.
He's just a great player. I'm telling you, he's got hips, man.
Oh,
he's got hips.
When you watch him,
Hips don't lie.
he
They do
is
not.
so fast.
I'm calling
for
him
a tight end.
Shakira from now on. No, I'm not. Before we move on to all the poopers and then ultimately the Footie nominations, the main event, we want to thank LinkedIn for sponsoring today's show. With the new year ahead, it's time to set goals for your business. Making the perfect hire can set your team up for success, and you do not want to leave that up to chance. So post your job to LinkedIn, where people go every day to make connections, grow their careers, and discover job opportunities. Look, a lot of LinkedIn members are not checking those job boards regularly, but 9 out of 10 LinkedIn members are open and interested in new opportunities. It's the best way to find the person that will help grow your business, and that's why a new hire is made every 8 seconds using LinkedIn. I've been a big LinkedIn fan forever, been on the platform for a long, long time, and there are lots of ways that your business can benefit from being on there and getting those jobs posted. Find the right people for your business this year at linkedin.com/footballers and get $50 off your first job post. That's linkedin.com/footballers to get $50 off your first job post. linkedin.com/footballers. Terms and conditions apply.
And Foot Clan, this is the time of year for pristine auction. You just won your championship. You got some of that cash from your money league. And you go and you commemorate and you celebrate for yourself with unbelievable, authentic signatures of your superstars, and you put them on your wall.
When I win, it's actually worse for my bank account.
Just because you're
Because
like,
I take all my winnings and then some.
I'm showing the world.
I celebrate.
But check it out. Look, Pristine Auction. It's an auction system. It's free
Are you
to
talking
make
about
an
our new
account.
studio sponsor?
I am. I was just going to say, yeah, we've got big things coming up this year with Pristine Auction. You've got to check them out. Look, let's say you're like me and you won a championship with Devontae Adams. You can get a signed Packers throwback jersey, went this week for $84 on their platform. Or let's say you're like me and you won a championship with Antonio Brown and you want to get a signed logo football. $92 went this week. You got to check them out. Pristine Auction, PRISTINE auction.com. Make a free account and let them know you found out about them from the Fantasy Footballers podcast.
I thought you were going to say, maybe you're like me, and you have 2 pre-dessert appetizers before you have pizza. In the we talked about
Pristine
that.
Auction sold desserts, I would purchase
You'd
desserts
be the
from
auction
Pristine
master.
Auction. Yes.
Did you listen into the show you missed there on the improv?
I did not. This was the one I usually hear every show that I miss, but I have not listened to Fridays.
Okay, we did talk a little bit about your cookie then cannoli before the pizza.
Yeah, it was delicious, and I stand by it.
And now you're under the weather, you
has
said,
nothing
right?
to do with being sick at all. Is my eating habits.
This is a perfect segment for right now.
Pooped in his big boy pants.
Yes, I have.
All right, we'll go through this really quick. Bad games from Cousins. What do you do? What do you do heading into next year? What's Kirk Cousins as a fantasy owner? 20 for 33, 132-1 in the biggest game of his career.
He's what he's been.
It'll be the schedule because he beats the crap out of bad teams.
Okay.
So if you look at the schedule and it opens very favorably with 3 solid matchups, then he will be a great late round draft target.
I forget who tweeted it out. I wish I could give credit, but I thought it was really funny. Someone said Kirk Cousins is now 0 for infinity in important games.
That's how it feels. But he's $84 million richer. Nick Chubb, Dalvin Cook, Jamal Williams, Christian McCaffrey, Adrian Peterson, Carlos Hyde, Mark Ingram, Sonny Michel all stunk it up this week, pooped in their pants. Anybody that surprised you the most from that group?
Surprised, not necessarily, but Christian McCaffrey is the name to bring up. Week 17, you don't know. Do I start him? Do I not? They shouldn't play him, but he's active. Do I play him? And you have to do that stupid juggle of going, well, he got me there. Of course, I'm going to play him, and he gets 4 carries.
When I saw he started the game, including that 22-yard reception, I went, oh, crap. I told so many people to bench Christian McCaffrey, but it was the right move.
It was, and it looked like most of the guys we said to sit down on Friday's show ended up sitting down, and then a few extras, including Antonio Brown.
The sad one of this list for me was Nick Chubb. Not that I was expecting a huge game on the road against Baltimore, but I expected more than 9 carries.
It did seem like they were forcing Baker, they're trying to get Baker the rookie quarterback record.
Yeah.
Because they're down on the goal line, and there were 2 consecutive plays that they had him throw, a fade to Njoku and then a slant to Callaway, where Chubb could have had a touchdown. Carlos Hyde, is his career wrapping up?
Yeah. He'll be a backup.
I believe it wrapped up earlier this year.
He'll be a backup or the starting running back for the Jaguars.
Yeah, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
No.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, no.
T.Y. Hilton, 2 for 61. Robert Woods, Amari Cooper on 11 targets, 5 for 31 and a fumble. Last 3 games for Cooper, 4 catches for 32 yards, 4 for 20, 5 for 31.
Did you guys see the play where, I'm sure you did, it was inside of 2 minutes, they're coming down to tie the game, and Amari Cooper is wide open and gets the target from Dak. I mean, it's like you could underhand throw this Grandma style, and it's a touchdown, and Dak threw it like 4 yards away from him. It was like, oh, my goodness.
Yeah. Doug Baldwin, Robbie Anderson, Michael Thomas, Keenan Allen, disappointing final weeks. Hopefully you were just holding your trophy and watching this week.
There's a lot of people that weren't, though.
Yeah, and then the Sutton Hamilton Patrick competition there in Denver with Keenum didn't really work out for any of them. They all stunk. Ertz, Gronk, Cook, Rudolph, Brait, Everett. Oh, great, Everett. Thank you for goosing when I finally spoke your name on this show. But anybody there? Gronk, 2 for 24 in his Week 17
That's
game.
a pretty big game nowadays.
For Gronk.
For Gronk.
I mean, you got to adjust everything that you think about him right now. Unless we find out in the offseason he needs surgery and there's something going on and we don't know about it. I mean,
yeah, but would that be a good thing?
I think it might be a good thing, yeah.
Here's the problem. Tom Brady threw 4 touchdowns this past week, and Gronk finished the game 2 for 24.
He has 3 on the year. I mean,
he caught both targets.
I mean, it's
he's a strong contender for a category coming up in the nomination.
You guys ready to get into this?
I am so ready.
Foot Clan, the Footie Nominations for 2018. Head to footieawards.com to vote. We'll have the winners.
that pizzicato.
I get to vote too, right? I can
Of
vote.
course you do.
Heck yeah.
Let's get into it. The nominees for Performance of the Year, which
That
is
was abrupt.
I'm sorry. Did you want it to keep going?
Maybe a fade out. Oh! We're back.
It is wonderful, though. It gets you in the mood.
If you've got a frown on your face right now, you're a bad person.
Yeah, you don't like joy
Or puppies.
or fun.
All right, well, let's take turns. Let's go round robin with these categories, okay?
Alrighty. Is it getting louder?
Second verse, same as the first. Now you just do the fade out.
Can I do the fade out?
Yeah.
It's a pretty hard fade.
It is. We got to adjust that fade.
All right.
Performance of the Year. This is the single week performance that was the most impressive on the year. The 2017 winner was Todd Gurley in Week 15, big playoff week, when he had 152 and 3. This year's nominees: Derrick Henry in Week 14, 17 for 238 and 4.
The Quattro.
Christian McCaffrey in Week 12, 17 for 125 and 1. Another 11 for 112 and 1 through the air.
He got 2 games in one.
Yeah.
Amari Cooper, Week 14, 10 for 217 and 3. That's a nice, impressive performance. The Mitch Trubisky game.
I remember when this was.
19 for 26 for 354 and 6 touchdowns in Week 4 against Tampa.
And 53 rushing yards.
And then,
Just add on.
Oh, man.
yeah, you had a combination, Matt Ryan and Drew Brees facing off against one another. Matt Ryan 26 for 35 for 374 and 5. And Brees 39 for 49, 396 and 3.
With 2 rushing touchdowns. We had to package
Did we put
those
them together? Is
because,
that one?
because they were playing each other.
Okay.
I mean, this game was fantastic.
All right, so those are the nominees for the Performance of the Year, footieawards.com. Go vote.
I know my vote.
Ooh.
Are we saying our votes?
No.
Okay.
No.
We don't want
Come on.
We don't want
sway
to
the
taint
Foot Clan,
the.
no.
All right. I'm not gonna say it. I really
All
don't wanna
right.
say it.
The Fantasy Reaper, Man of the Year. Which player's injury hurt fantasy owners the most?
Oh, man. Last year, it was DJ.
Yeah, David Johnson going down in week 1, halfway through the game. That was a big one. But this year's nominees are Devonta Freeman, who he missed 14 games?
Oh, yes, he did, Mike.
Wow.
My
I
League of
thought it
Record
was-
team knows all about it.
My memory is around 10. So 14. Goodness. Odell Beckham missing when you need him. A.J. Green, Leonard Fournette, Marshawn Lynch put on the IR after week 6, and Quincy Ocha, Rex Burkhead, and this one hurt me. This one hurt my heart. Darius Geis on the IR in the preseason. What could have possibly been this year for Darius Geis having that backfield to himself.
All right, it's only appropriate I bring this award up, the Poopiest Pants Award, which is despite high expectations, this player let you down in fantasy over and over again. You have
Shout out to Terrell Pryor from last year.
Dumpster Fire. You have Rob Gronkowski.
Oh, yeah.
Who you took a chance, you drafted high, and he stunk. Royce Freeman,
Yep.
he was going rather high at one point.
He was because he was the starting running back for the Broncos until he wasn't.
Yeah. David Johnson has disappointed. Finished okay, but definitely not what you were hoping
Hurt you in the
for.
beginning, really.
How about Aaron Rodgers?
Yeah.
The clear-cut quarterback one who is barely a quarterback one, or Tom Brady, possibly the GOAT, has not had a great season. Kenyon Drake, or my fantasy MVP, who definitely let me down, Doug Baldwin.
Can we make the Drake B-hole combo? Is that really the –
I think a vote for Drake is a vote for B-hole.
okay.
Look, the good news is the butthole is closed.
Oh, my gosh. Mike.
The word on the street, is that he is going to be a hot commodity for a new hire. So he might open back up.
Bring the
for
hot
business.
snakes somewhere else.
Yes.
Goodness. You're up.
Well, I'm not up until he says Doug Baldwin.
He
but
did.
I
He
did.
said
I
his
talked about my
fantasy.
fantasy
okay.
MVP.
I'm sorry.
I distracted you with
Waiver
my discussions
yeah, I
of
was-
Adam Gase.
Yes, thank you. With your disgusting discussions. Waiver wire wonder. Which undrafted waiver wire stud was the best signing of the 2018 season? Last year, believe it or not, was Robbie Anderson.
I believe it.
Oh,
He
Robbie
was-
was great.
He was, probably close to a nomination again this year based on the fact
Needed
that
a few more games.
Odell Beckham Jr. went down and people could fill in with him. This year's nominees, Phillip Lindsay, Nick Chubb, Aaron Jones, Tyler Boyd, Eric Ebron, and George Kittle.
Kostya Kittle.
Lot of strong names on this list, and I get it. Foot Clan, some of you are out there saying, "Hey, I picked this guy up off of the waivers. We had to make our best judiciary decisions."
Yeah, we were looking at whether these guys were drafted in the majority of
Yes.
leagues.
I don't know who to vote for. There's between two guys for me.
I'm guessing I know them. Yes.
We'll talk more on next episode.
Maybe that one's very, very tough for me because they all make sense.
All right, Mike, what's next?
Number 5, the fantasy wide receiver of the year. When factoring draft position, big game performances, and impact to your fantasy team everywhere, which wideout deserves the footy for fantasy wide receiver of the year
This
last
is a
year?
very, very heralded footy award.
Yes, very, very. It's very heralded. The most heralded of the wide receiver awards. Last year, of course, DeAndre Hopkins smashed everyone in the face when he 2 years ago was an absolute dud and then just returned to be dominant.
And that's part of what made him win last
Yes.
year is he fell in the draft. You got a great price on him, and then
Yes, you did.
and then he performed well.
Devontae Adams, Antonio Brown, Tyreek Hill, DeAndre Hopkins, Michael Thomas, Adam Thielen, and Julio Jones. No surprise who is eligible, but the surprise will be who wins.
That's right.
All right, fantasy running back, fantasy running back of the year.
This has been a painful episode for Jason.
Yeah, I'm doing everything I can to get through it.
Look, the ASMR people are freaking out
Oh
right
my
now.
gosh.
All right, so fantasy running back of the year when factoring in all those things, draft capital, how they perform, big games, when it mattered. Last year's winner, Todd Gurley, This year he's nominated again, Todd Gurley, Christian McCaffrey, Saquon Barkley, Alvin Kamara, Ezekiel Elliott, and Melvin Gordon. It's basically the top picks in next year's draft. That's
Yeah.
That's
Very,
who's
very
nominated this year.
All right, fantasy tight end of the year. Last year's winner was Zach Ertz, nominated once again. Travis Kelce, Zach Ertz, George Kittle, Eric Ebron, and Jared Cook, again, factoring in the draft position, big game performances, and how they impacted fantasy teams. I'll be curious to see who takes it home.
Quarterback of the year. This one is not as interesting.
It's a one-horse race.
Ben Roethlisberger, Andrew Luck, Patrick Mahomes, Matt Ryan, Phillip Rivers, Mitchell Trubisky, Drew Brees, and Deshaun Watson.
Last year, Carson Wentz won it.
Yes, he did. We probably could have tightened that one up.
We could have made that a nomination of one guy.
We kept adding a name and then being like, okay, that name's on the same tier as this guy.
Yeah.
And it went down. All right, breakout player of the year, Jason.
Here we go. Here we
Breakout
go.
player.
These are fun.
Who was fantasy football's breakout this year? Last year was clearly Alvin Kamara. He took down the footy.
Super Camario.
Now was the breakout George Kittle this year. He's nominated. Tyler Lockett, the big year scoring. Kenny Golladay, clearly.
Ooh.
Oh, just so smooth. He broke out. James Conner broke out. Nick Chubb broke out. Phillip Lindsay from
Phillip
undrafted to fantasy star. Joe Mixon
Yeah.
did what we all hoped and thought he was going to do last year, broke out this year. Patrick Mahomes
Yep.
broke in. And, of course, the clear winner, the guy we've been waiting to break out for ever, Eric Ebron. Yeah, my boy.
Royal we, right?
Yes.
The Rookie of the Year nominations. Which fantasy player was the Rookie of the Year? Last year was Alvin Kamara. This year, well, might seem obvious. Maybe not, though. Saquon Barkley, Nick Chubb, Phillip Lindsay, Baker Mayfield breaking the rookie record for touchdowns, Lamar Jackson, and Calvin Ridley nominated for the Rookie of the Year.
Congratulations to all the losers of that category.
Yes.
Comeback player of the year. Now this one, far more interesting. Andrew Luck, Adrian Peterson, Lamar Miller, Amari Cooper, Emmanuel Sanders. That's right. Sanders still made the list despite the abrupt ending to the season. He was on pace for a great comeback.
This one I'm interested to see the results. I could see it going 4 different ways. The steal of the draft. This is pretty much one of the most important things that happens in fantasy football every year is which player outperformed their average draft position at the draft the most. You have Chris Carson as the 82nd player taken off the board. Right behind him, 83rd, Andrew Luck. You have Robert Woods, super late, Pat Mahomes down in the hundreds, James Conner, basically undrafted, Adam Thielen, and Matt Breida, all significantly outperforming where they were drafted.
And we'll have all their draft positions on the ballot at footieawards.com so you can vote. Are we really doing the guest host of the year
we are.
again?
Oh, last year was a close race.
Yeah.
Super close.
Jay Grizz won last year.
Yes.
Now, he was the only one nominated last year and is the only one nominated again this year.
Well,
So, Jay Grizz.
the cardboard bear extraordinaire deserves some recognition. Also, congratulations for your 20,000 Twitter followers.
Is there a chance that we should have
20,000?
Yes.
Should we have Jay Grizz and then not Jay Grizz? I mean,
You want to upset the bear?
on the last episode, he fell over a little bit.
He did.
Did he really?
Yes.
He was
Because
like,
you were a last minute,
You were a healthy scratch.
yeah, you were a last minute, well, not a healthy scratch.
yeah.
A last minute scratch, and then Brooks, he normally takes 3-4 hours to put him up. He only had a couple minutes.
That's just Jay Grizz wanting more airtime.
Yep. All right, I'm stealing this next one. All right, the Nickname of the Year award. This is the
These are where they get the fun.
and we added a new one after this that Mike will tell you about. The Nickname of the Year. Which nickname from the show was your favorite from 2018? Now, last year,
Oh, yeah.
I got to find it. Do we still
This
have
is
it
the
on
last
here?
time we'll ever be able to play it because he's going to be irrelevant
That is right. The
forever.
last year's winner of the Nickname of the Year was Devin S. Scrumptious. And yeah, you're right. He's never gonna. He's not even going back to Carolina.
gone.
He gone. All right.
Buffalo. will be his landing
Oh,
spot.
gosh, yes, before out of the league. Here are all the nominations, and there were many of them. Although I would like someone else to read them because I think I'm going to have to find drops for them.
Yeah,
All right.
I'll take it since, Mike, you've got the next category.
Right.
You have Hot Locket for Tyler Lockett. And, of course, Booty Scootin' Cam Newton. Ooh! Hey, guys, don't forget about me. It's Mark Walton. Mark Waltenberg. Mark Waltenberg for Mark Walton.
Oh, yeah. I
you-
like that you had to explain that one.
Yeah.
Mark Waltenberg, the nickname of Mark Walton.
I don't always get things right, okay? So how do you mother for me?
You need a
You have Mr.
lozenge over there.
Mr. Beehole, Adam Gase himself. Now, look, if you weren't listening at the beginning of the year, this was a great one. But Will Disley, the Big Montana. Woohoo!
What could have been for Big Montana?
That was fun. That was a fun time.
It was.
It was. You know what else was fun? How great Ed Dixon was. And by
Oh.
that, I mean Red Dead Dixon.
One more big score.
How do two irrelevant tight ends from the same team get on this list?
Welcome. Welcome to the show.
Frank Gore. The
3 top 20 accuracy finishes, by the
Yes,
way,
that's
this year.
true. We do.
I don't think we
actually
mentioned that.
know the fantasy football.
the
stuff.
time to
And you know
mention
what? If we haven't mentioned it,
Yeah.
We did. It kind of came through on Friday.
Yeah, Mike brought up the fact that I was number
Number
5.
five.
I was going to bring that up. You were top 5. You were number 5.
Jason snuck in at number 9.
Whew.
Climbing into that
We
top
did it.
10, and Mike brought home our third top 20 finish out of 135 experts.
All right, so you got the Infinity Stone.
Yes, he's
Frank Gore.
infinite.
He is all.
Frank Gore.
Jared Garv, which is near and dear to my
Which
heart.
is by far the stupidest one on this
Yes,
list.
without a doubt. Jared Garv. Don't forget the quarterback extraordinaire rookie, Josh Stallion.
Excellent.
An early offseason favorite of mine,
Of no one but you.
of no one but me, Turok, the dinosaur hunter Cohen. So good. You've got Sam Darnold, Schwarzenegger. I
Yes.
forgot about that.
Yeah,
Now
well,
this-
hopefully that one continues on into next
Yeah,
year.
this is on me. I feel bad that I did not continue it. I apologize. I seek forgiveness from the Foot Clan.
Get to the touchdown.
I will do my best to never forget it again.
Don't forget my guy, Kerryon Johnson. And, of course, finally, the fitness consigliere, Sony Michel.
consigliere, Michel.
That's a nice group. We'll
It
have
is.
a by the way, we have a version. This will be year 4 of the nickname T-shirt, and it will be out on shopballers.com very soon.
Absolutely.
And then we got a new category.
We do. We're going to close out the Footie Awards with the Fantasy Footballers Moment of the Year. What was your favorite moment from 2018? And the nominees are
Oh, I love this.
the origin of Jared Garf. Now, this one was originally on the Footcast, but when we asked for nominations, it was overwhelming.
Well, we
people
brought
spoke.
it in. Some moments climb across any barriers presented them, and it climbed in from the Footcast.
But the original moment of on that Footcast episode where we took that thing to the end of
Next level. That was
yes.
yes.
That was unbelievable.
The hate blockers.
Oh,
When
the
Ja-
hate blockers.
When Jason had his eyes dilated and decided that he could say whatever he wanted.
Just because he's wearing.
To be fair,
Ronald Jones is a bust.
Ronald Jones was a massive bust.
Yeah. Yeah.
The accidental funky news drop was quite a moment when we thought we were getting into the regular news, and somehow this gem started playing. Thanks for that one, Brooks.
I forgot how accidental that was. Because we were just trying to add the news drop, and he had put this in.
Because the soundboard had broken.
Yes, and Brooks put in all the sounds.
Somehow that was in our sound bank, and we had never heard it. Jason hating on Mitch Trubisky with extreme prejudice. Horse Puns with Michael Gallup.
Oh, my gosh.
Who can ever forget that classic moment?
One of the main moments of the show.
Hugh Jackson being fired during a sponsor read on this show.
I was so sad.
Andy was sad. Jason was happy.
Baker was happy.
Yes, he was. Man, he hates that guy.
Yes, he does.
All the pop-ins from the third-string running back from Cincinnati, Mark Waltenberg.
Hey, what are you talking about? I could be a second string next year. Say hi to your mother for me.
He might be. He might be the backup next year. The moment that everyone waited for, I finally got verified on Twitter. We ended the 2 years of suffering and madness. That was me.
You didn't have much time left on this earth if that didn't happen.
That is very true. My life force was dwindling. And last on this list of nominations, the Red Dead 2 references.
Yeah, we became a little obsessed with Red Dead right when it came out.
Culminated in us
Not sponsored.
receiving a 1-star review claiming that we were launching a guerrilla marketing tactic for Red Dead, except it's just that we loved the game.
Yeah, we've still been paid nothing by them. That'd be cool, though.
Which is ridiculous.
Yeah. I mean, the benefit they've received, I guess,
worth dozens of dollars.
In their defense, they haven't had to pay us anything.
That is true.
But those are the nominations for the 2018 Footie Awards. A reminder, go to footieawards.com. That's FOOTIE awards.com.
I'm already there.
Nice.
Cast your vote, and we will have the winners on Thursday. I believe we'll also try to give you our top 10s for next year on Thursday. Jason and I already have ours, and Mike will develop his. We'll talk through that on the Thursday show. What else is going on Thursday, Brooks?
And playoffs. Playoff picks.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, Nick Foles is still alive. I'm very excited about the NFL playoffs. And, I think that's it for today. So, footieawards.com. Go vote. Thanks for a great 2018.
Yes, thank you so much, Foot Clan. It's been a great year. Next year will be even better. See ya. Goodbye.
Thank you for listening to another episode of the Fantasy Footballers Podcast. Join our fantasy football community on jointhefoot.com and follow us on Twitter @TheFFBallers.